Larry Thompson considered himself an upstanding citizen. He paid his taxes, watered his lawn, and had a strict routine involving morning coffee, afternoon naps, and evening news. He was, in his own words, as predictable as a traffic light. That all changed when he declared war on the squirrels. It started with his bird feeder. A simple contraption hanging from a hook on his porch, meant to bring joy to the local finches and cardinals. But the squirrels had other plans. Every morning, Larry would wake up to find his bird feeder ravaged, the seeds gone, and a fat squirrel staring at him from a nearby tree, smug as a king after a feast. "This means war," Larry muttered, shaking his fist at the furry menace. First, he tried greasing the pole with cooking oil. The next morning, he found a squirrel sliding down in slow motion, its tiny arms flailing, before landing gracefully on its feet, like a gymnast sticking the perfect landing. Next, he bought a special squirrel-proof feeder. The instructions promised it was impossible for squirrels to access. Within an hour, Larry watched from his window as a particularly ambitious squirrel dangled upside down from a branch, pried open the feeder's hatch with its tiny fingers, and dumped the seeds into a pile on the ground. The other squirrels cheered. Larry upgraded his tactics. He installed motion-activated sprinklers, only to wake up at 3 a.m. to the sound of water spraying wildly. When he looked outside, a particularly bold squirrel was dancing in the water like it was at a pool party. Then came the incident. Larry, fed up, decided to go full military mode. He set up a small surveillance camera, laid down decoy seeds laced with extra chili powder, and sat on his porch in camouflage, which was really just his wife's green bathrobe. His plan was simple. The spicy seeds would deter the squirrels, and he'd finally reclaim his backyard. At 7 a.m., the first squirrel approached, a large, battle-hardened beast Larry had named Big Earl. Earl sniffed the seeds, nibbled cautiously, then recoiled in horror. Larry grinned. Victory. But Earl was not one to suffer alone. The squirrel darted back up the tree, chattered something to his furry brethren, and within minutes, Larry found himself under siege. 5 squirrels charged the feeder. One distracted the motion sensor by running back and forth, keeping the sprinklers engaged, while another chewed through the camera wire. And then, the final act of defiance. As Larry stood there, jaw hanging open, Big Earl climbed onto the roof, positioned himself just above Larry, and, whether by accident or pure malice, dropped a half-eaten acorn directly onto Larry's bald spot. Larry shrieked. His foot slipped. He tumbled backward into the sprinkler's direct line of fire. His wife found him 5 minutes later, soaked, muttering, and defeated, while the squirrels enjoyed a fresh batch of sunflower seeds in the background. That night, Larry made peace with his new overlords. He set out a separate pile of seeds just for the squirrels, hoping to broker an uneasy truce. The next morning, the bird feeder was untouched. The squirrels had won. And Larry? He went back to being predictable, just with a lot more squirrel food in his shopping cart.